Everybody, I just wanted to make a quick screen recording of one of my more, I guess, practical lessons that I deliver in academic success. The theme of this quick video is how to use Microsoft Word, specifically the outline view, in order to make your papers both more coherent and a bit efficient when you're writing them. And so I encourage you to watch it, and if you pick up anything, let me know. And if you think that I could, if it would be valuable to give more of these little lessons on how to use Microsoft Word efficiently when you're writing academic papers, then feel free to also let me know and I can do my best. What I've got here is your basic Microsoft Word. So I use Windows, and so this is the style that comes. If you use Mac, you might just have to look a little deeper into some of the tools to find them, but they're all the same. They're just in different spots. So what we've got on the screen right now is your basic Microsoft Word document. This it actually opens up in print layout view, and so most students, when they start a paper, they flip it open and this is what they get, and they start typing with very little attention paid to any of the toolbars, any of the heading styles, etc., that do come useful when you're formatting later on, especially with some papers that are a little bit longer in length. So when you're moving through your academic career, if you're thinking about doing a fourth year thesis or a paper or working on something with a professor, these tools will all come in handy. So it opens up like this, and right away it doesn't really help me sort of plan out or outline what my paper is. Luckily, they give an option called Outline View, which I'm going to walk you through just here in a second. Some of you will be able to find Outline View down in the right hand corner if you're using Windows, right by the scale bar, and if you're using Mac, it'll be on the other side, on the left hand side at the bottom. So you just hover over and see what type of view there are. But mine isn't coming up here, so I'm just going to go to View and I'm going to click on Outline View, and it changes the whole dynamic of the sheet. So what happens is you've got our level 1 thing, so I can use, I can put in introduction, I can put in some background information, I can put in discussion, conclusion, and so I'm starting to at least work through what some of my major headings are going to be. And the major headings are what we call level 1. You can see they're blue and a different font, maybe even a different size than you're used to. And I'll show you, if I have it hovered there, I can go to Home, and it's given me heading 1 as the style, which is something that is very important, understanding how styles work. I'm going to go back to the outline view, and underneath this introduction, I'm going to click down and I'm going to press Tab. And now you can see it's gone to level 2, and I can hover in between these with the arrows, make it level 3, make it level 4, and so all of these have a style that's associated with them. I'm not going to start writing a paper for you on screen and have you watch me write a paper. And so what I've done instead is I've used some information or a paper that I had published a while ago to at least formulate some of the information here. So I usually start every paper that I write in Outline View, and I use these 3 sections at the top in order to guide my entire paper. I leave the title blank. That's something that can be filled in later, or I can work as I'm working through the paper with some edits, or make it sound cool, or make it sound interesting to the reader. But I've also got a thesis statement. So you choose what yours is, and this is something that I've got mine. But I've also come to appreciate how important having a motive when you're writing is. And so what that motive is doing is it's at least guiding me of what I'm trying to do in this paper. And so what I've done for this example is just have a simple provide background information on park research to bring attention to the area. So every time I'm writing something, I'm going to be referring back, okay, does this hit my motive? is this good background information, and does it hit my thesis? And so I can walk through these steps. So further on, you can see I've got my introduction, my background, discussions, and conclusions. These are all my main headings, so they're all level 1s, as you can see. But there's a plus sign, interestingly, next to these now. And that plus sign allows me to hide some of the topics that I've got here. And so I've got my introduction. I'm going to give a quick overview. I'm going to give a thesis statement. I'm going to identify any key terms for the reader, just so they aren't reading my paper wondering what I'm talking about. I can do some definitions or relate some key terms to maybe some layman ideas so that people can understand it. And depending on the length of your paper, you may want to guide the reader through how the paper is laid out. The longer the paper, you're going to want to let the reader know what they're embarking on, but a smaller paper you might not need to. So we're good. I've got a couple bits of information already plugged in here that I'll be able to show you in a second, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show what levels do I want to show, and I'm going to go down to level 2. And this is, I use these level 2 ideas to really segment my paper. So I'm going to start off my background research with what are the health benefits of a public park? Why is that important around obesity and childhood recreation? Why is a park important? I'm going to talk quickly, or I guess in detail, about park accessibility, how that's measured, what it means, different ways that accessibility can be measured. I'm going to talk about park quality, what it means to have a quality park. Is there research that shows this? And again, by including this, I am hitting my motive by providing background information. And finally, as far as service delivery from a government perspective, I'm going to talk about how parks are delivered. Is it important that everybody in a city has access to a park? Do people who need them more, should they have them? And so I'm going to talk about the delivery methods of a city building public parks. I should mention this is a little bit of a niche topic, but it is the topic that I did my master's degree in. So I had the information readily available, and it is also something that I spent years and years of my life researching. So these are all the level 2s that we've got here. And underneath these level 2s, I can start writing my paper. So I feel like I've got a little bit of an idea of how my paper is going to run through the background, through some discussion and some conclusion. But this outline view allows me to sort of mentally make sure that my paper is going to be coherent. So one thing I'm going to identify right off the bat is this obesity in childhood population, I think it should be higher up in the background information. It would make sense to talk about the global obesity pandemic and how it affects children before I started talking about benefits of a public park. So you can see that there's plus signs, so there's information already here. And I've already got a lot of my paper written. And so I'm going to simply close this down. It's hiding all of that information, but it still exists. And I'm able just to drop and change the order just by dragging these plus signs around. I can start to change the order of the paper, which is very helpful because you don't have to copy and cut and paste into different areas. This is just one way of, you can drop things down and move things around your paper very easily. And so, good tip. So I've got it, I think I've got it how I like it. Things make a little bit more sense. And now I'm able to start writing my paper. So I'm going to double click here and you'll see that I've got some information already typed in. Very well researched. If you get a chance to read it, or I can pass it along to you if you want. And so that's where we got. You can see when I click on here, now we're looking at the body text. So this isn't going to be a heading in my paper. This is going to be my paragraphs. And each paragraph is identified by a new bullet point. So again, I'm able to drag these around. If I prefer one paragraph to be in front of another, you can just grab the whole bullet and move it around to make it look good. So when I'm writing these papers, I usually give each sentence its own bullet and then change it after. So each sentence now, I can read this and make sure that it makes absolute sense. Every sentence should be able to stand alone, and I would be able to read each sentence and use my editing techniques to make sure this works. And once I'm happy with that sentence, I go on to the next sentence. But this is already written in paragraph form, so I'm just going to put it back. So I've got a paragraph, well written, well researched. I've got all my my in-text references, and so I move on to my second paragraph and my second paragraph. Once I'm happy with this, I can close it down. I don't need to worry about analyzing the entire paper of text at once. I can simply close it down knowing that it'll stay there. I can move on to another one, or perhaps this is part of my writing process that I'm only going to do one part at a time, and so I can move down and I can see that this is all written as well, and I'm finally pretty happy with how things are working out. I've got all my research and I'm ready to go. So what do I do now? I can now simply close outline view. By adding all of these things into my paper in outline view, it's very simple just to close my outline view now. I'm going to close it, and now my paper is written. So I can go up to the top. You can see I didn't have anything written down for the introduction. No one would hand in a paper with all of these things at the top. These were just cues for me, so I'm going to delete them. And for that fact, I'm just going to delete this because I didn't have anything written down for it. And I can start, maybe I do want to change this to introduction because it's the first paragraph, and it does lead into my paper. And so now if I go to outline view again, you'll see that all those things were deleted, and the introduction, the background is now changed to introduction. So I've got a well-written paper. All these headings make sense. I'm reading through. You can see my health benefits of a public park. I've got a new subheading in there, and I'm moving through. Park accessibility was another heading, heading 2. And so if I click on that, you'll see heading 2. Moving down, the paper looks good. I've already read all this. We've got a new subheading. Interestingly enough, this is single spaced, and now this is double spaced. So why don't I just make a quick correction to this, and I'm going to get line spacing. So it all looks good. I'm almost ready to go. There's another section, doesn't matter for now. And so that's how I write a paper. I can, once it looks good, I can see how it looks here, and then if I'm doing any work on the paper, I go back to outline mode, and I can still gain access to all of that information just in a very easy to see, very outlined way. Lots of good stuff. I hope you enjoyed. Just another, well, I'll give you a tip in when I publish it and send it around to you. But for the most part, this is going to be on YouTube, and so if you actually change the settings to 1.5 speed on YouTube, you'll be able to watch this in half the time, and you'll still make sense. These headings, I wish people were. I'm gonna insert. I think you can insert a table of contents pretty easily, and you'll. Whatever. Now I'm just searching around. I'll show you another time. So that's it. Quick how to write a paper, how to use outline view. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.